Hi everybody! In this video I make a biplane, which gets chased by a dog and has an encounter with a magpie. Yes folks, in my quest to build a slow-flying RC plane capable of carrying my Canon Thumb Pro camera, I've been planning to build a biplane based on my last project, the Lark. I decided to build a new plane from scratch but use the construction techniques that I did with my Lark. That is, a 3D printed fuselage with plug-in foam wings. I recently visited the Luskintyre Aviation Flying Museum while staying in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, Australia. It is owned and operated by a bunch of private individuals who maintain and fly aircraft, but mainly vintage biplanes. We were kindly shown around by Vince, who owns a Tiger Moth which is currently having an engine overhaul. Unfortunately, due to heavy recent rain, the airfield was too soggy for the Tiger Moths to fly. However, I was able to pay close attention to the construction of these vintage aircraft. This visit inspired me to expedite my biplane project, so when I got home I got straight into it. I decided to design a new plane from scratch, but use the same construction techniques as my recent Lark project, that is, a 3D printed fuselage with plug-in foam wings. I started the design from scratch based on a basic biplane picture that I downloaded from the internet. I did some prototyping of the midsection, which would support two sets of wings, the undercarriage and house the radio gear and servos. I used some old green PLA to test my ideas, then when happy with the design, I progressed to Silver PLA+. My initial Silver PLA+ test gave very nice results. I designed the fuselage in three sections, starting with the midsection. This was the most complex, as I needed to accommodate two sets of wings plus servo and camera mounts. In FreeCad, the shape was a simple pad of a square with an arc top stretching for 100mm long and 0.5mm thickness. I created one wing slot, then cloned it 3 times for the other wings, so any adjustments to the wing airfoil would automatically be replicated on the other 3 wings. I had to be mindful of being able to print this on my FDM Bambu 3D printer, so I lined up with the top and bottom wings. I included fins on the top of the wings to hold the supports together, and I also included undercarriage in this section. Quite a detailed build. For the front section, I gave it a longer nose than scale to balance out the CG. This was an additive loft of a rounded rectangle to a box shape with the top arc, 78mm long at 0.5mm thickness, leaving a large slot for the battery bay. I set the motor firewall for down 5 degrees and right 5 degrees. I printed out a PLA motor mount and cowl to be glued onto the nose section. The rear section was quite straightforward, using an additive loft 200mm long and a thickness starting at 0.4 and ending at 0.3mm, starting with a midsection profile and ending in a small rounded rectangle. I built in slots for the tail fin and tailplane, making pockets for the control rods. I used my normal construction technique for the wings out of 3mm printing foam and painted them light grey. To finish the wings off, I made some yellow wingtip protectors. For the radio installation, I decided to stick with 1S 3 channels for this plane. I installed 2g servos for the rudder and elevator and an MC1104 brushless motor. The all-up flying weight with a 1S 650 mAh battery came to 123 grams. The weather was perfect, so I decided to try it out in the park before testing it indoors. Here's an aerial view of the park where I'm about to fly and the Melbourne skyline, which is only a few kilometres away. Time to get into some flying, Dave. I'm here at the park to do a flight test of my newly built Moth Mark 1. Oh, by the way, this is little dog Ruby. She follows my plane wherever I go. It's actually quite useful if you lose track of your plane. Just see where the dog is and the plane will be directly above it. Flies, but needs a lot of down a lot of throttle. It's flying to a very gentle breeze at the moment. Oh, one of the local magpies has noticed my plane. Oh, there's a magpie. That was a bit close for comfort. Let's see if it glides. Well, it glides a little bit. Ruby's owner tells me she's about 8.5 years old, so I'd better land before she has a heart attack. I wonder if it would fly with just the top wing. There's a question. Oh, look at that, it's a monoplane. flying beautifully. And on about 2/3 throttle. I'm just trying the big wings on the bottom now. Effectively it's a Moth liner. Let's see if that flies at all. Yes, it does. Even more down trim. Flies really fast, but it flies well. Okay, I think I'll bring it in. It's flying way too fast. Single wings, which aren't that big. It did fly outside, but it had a number of issues which I wanted to address before I tested it inside. One of the main issues was the motor came loose a little bit and was pointing upwards, causing it to fly in an upward attitude. Also, there was some weakness around the tail, so I decided to move the slot where the push rods come out. Also, I shortened the nose a little bit. It looked a bit odd with such a long nose, so I took 1 centimetre off the nose and I moved the bottom wing back another centimetre. This made it look a bit more realistic. Also, I found out by removing the servo mounts and the undercarriage from the fuselage midsection, it made the actual print a lot cleaner. Adding too much detail in the interior of the midsection seems to corrupt the outside printing. I replaced the 3D printed motor mount with an aluminium one so it wouldn't come loose. And I made the undercarriage and servo mounts separately this time. All up flying weight came to 121 grams this time, and here it is ready to be tested indoors. I've also added the same undercarriage to my Mark IV and Mark V Larks. With these modifications completed, I headed off to Mullen to try it out indoors. And here are my planes all lined up ready for testing. I'm about to made in my rebuilt version of the Moth. It's got a few mods from the one that I tested out in the park. This one's got 1 centimetre off the nose, the bottom wing's shifted back, and we've now got a steerable tail wheel for taxiing, and we've got undercarriage attached separately with springy wheels, so see how that goes. Taxiing test. Yep. Taxi's okay. That flies beautifully. Can anyone notice there's something wrong?
The right-hand circuit.
Is it? Oh no.
Yeah, right-hand circuit.
Thank you for that.
Down there.
Thank you. And after a quick 180, I was back on track. I was going the wrong way. Can do both right hand and left hand circuits. Watch out for the guys. Two-thirds throttle, which is really great for 1S. Getting a bit busy, I think I'll bring it in. Perfect. Okay, we'll try it with a bit of up trim. Good stall recovery there. Also got the motor pointing down a bit more, which I think helps as well. Before it came loose, it was pointing up. Oh, it seems to be very manoeuvrable when I make a mistake. So, how did it go indoors? Well, with my steerable tail wheel, it taxied really well. It took off quite easily and it was able to fly around with about half or just over half throttle. And that's on 1S, so I was really pleased with that. It didn't seem to exhibit any bad habits. It recovered from stalls quite easily and it went exactly where I wanted it to, which is really important for indoor flying. I was really pleased how the little Moth flew indoors, and it came home in one piece. So I don't know if it'll be good enough to carry my Runcam Thumb Pro camera, but as a standalone little plane, it flies really well. So what's on my project list? Well, I'm planning to build my Magnum Reloaded using my new technology of building the fuselage from 3D printed PLA and foam wings. I also plan to build a 3D printed slope soarer that fits into a suitcase for travelling. And I've also got my mad idea about building a glider that I can release from my drone. And finally, I've just ordered a new receiver with twin brushless ESCs built in. And with this, I intend to build some sort of World War II plane like a Mosquito. So it's quite a big project list, so it's going to be a busy year. As usual, if you'd like to follow my progress through my projects, consider subscribing to DavesFunRC, and then I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.